Hey, ladies. Hello, hello. Good evening. Happy Monday. You all know I call Monday Money Monday because that's what it is in my world. As you're coming in, please hit the like button. If you are watching the replay, please put a one in the replay area, in the comment area, just so that the algorithms can pick it up. If you're watching us live today, say a hello so that the algorithms can pick it up. So, bucket list time, bucket list time. Uh, this weekend, I did something on my bucket list. I told you all that I would come and tell you what was on my bucket list once I was done doing it. And the truth is, I'm going back to continue doing this as an item, but I figured I wouldn't keep you in suspense any longer, that I would actually share what I did with you this weekend. So, first of all, Dark and Lovely is in the building. Hello, Dark and Lovely. Hello, everybody. Please don't forget to like the video as you are coming in. Okay, so the thing that was on my bucket list, one of the items that was on my bucket list is I wanted to go to the Library of Congress. Turns out I was there in the 90s because when I walked in with my ID and all of that stuff. And the guy basically looked in the system and he's like, "Yeah, you went to such and such a college." And I'm like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" And he swings the computer around and there's my picture from like 1996. I was like, "Well, darn, I haven't aged that much." But yeah, so hello, Dawn to Earth. Hello, Still Rocks. Hi, Dark and Lovely. Okay, so yeah, so what I want to do tonight is talk to you a little bit about why I wanted to go to the Library of Congress, some of the things that I think will help you because I did some research with regards to grants because I was considering uh, I had done grant research before, and I was considering whether or not I was going to open that up as a service again. And I'm still kind of teetering on it, but I'm leaning towards the no category. But that doesn't mean that you can't get some of the information that I picked up with regards to grants. I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight. I'm also going to talk about tonight just your bucket list, some of the things that you may want to have on your bucket list with regards to questions you want to ask yourself and living your dreams because life is so short. Life is so short, and we definitely want to. Uh, I suggest you write out your bucket list. So my mother even asked me, "Well, what's on your bucket list?" I'm like, "Well, I told her a couple of things, but I really didn't have anything written down." So I pulled out my cell phone, pulled up my notes tab, started writing stuff on my bucket list. I've been adding things from my bucket list. I'll tell you a lot of the things that are on my bucket list this evening as well. I want to hear what's on your bucket list. And then the third thing I'm going to talk about tonight is the whole Pearl fiasco. You all know me. I'm not getting in the mire of all of that that's happening with Pearl and all of that. I have an unpopular opinion, though. Our conversation about her and that whole fiasco is literally going to be 5 minutes or less. But there's something very important that I want to talk to you about with regards to that. So, yeah, black does not crack. That is the truth. Okay, ladies. So many of you either have businesses or you have children, and you want to learn a little bit more about getting grants. So, what I did was, as I was at the Library of Congress, I brought my laptop and I started writing a whole bunch of notes so you all can just kind of get the benefit of some of my notes. The first thing is it was raining on Saturday. So the library opened up at 8:30. I got there at 8:50. The people were super friendly. Um, I told you that they had my information from college in the system. And I, got a library card. So my Library of Congress card is good for 2 years, y'all. I could go in and out. That's my flex. Hey, selfish love. So uh I ended up asking them about the grant books, and, I was shown 3 different grant books. Y'all, the books one of the books was like 1,000 pages, and the other book was like 1,200 pages, and the 3rd book was like 800 pages. There's a lot of money out there for a lot of different purposes. And one of the things they say about Black people is if you wanna keep knowledge away from Black people, put it in a book. It is the truth, but it is highly, highly boring as well to go through these books and find these grants and find this money. There was a guy years ago named Matthew Lesko. I don't know if you all remember Matthew Lesko. Put in if you remember Matthew Lesko or not. But his whole thing was he was a guy who lived in the DC area, and he was hired by big companies and nonprofits to go to the Library of Congress, find these grants, bring them back, bring the grant information back to their corporations, and he helped them get probably hundreds of millions of dollars in grants. And as I was doing this whole thing, I'm like, now I know why he was paid such big money, because it really is a tedious process, but there's literally billions with a B, billions of dollars of grant money out there, especially if you have children and you do not want them to pay for college. Starting them off when they're 14, 15 years old, applying for these foundation grants is going to be the best way that you can do it, right? So, um, Cherie, also, can you talk about marketing your business, the bookkeeping, and the business plan? Yeah, sure. I can talk about that. Hey, Jay Antoinette. And you said I was good on Mocha Mommy's channel. Yeah, I'm actually gonna do a follow-up to that because Mocha and Mommy, she and I didn't really get to talk about the information in the book. I love Mocha Mommy, with regards to her thought process. She wants to talk about more about entrepreneurship, and it was great because she asked me questions that I would not have thought about. But we're going to actually come and talk about the book itself in the next couple of weeks. So, ladies, pull your pens and papers out, your favorite note taking device, or you can watch this on a replay because it's going to stay up. Okay, there are 3 books that I picked up in the Library of Congress that has a whole lot of grants in it. The first is Foundation Grants to Individuals. You can see it highlighted here, Foundation Grants to Individuals. It's a comprehensive directory. Even though this one was from 2009, they create one every year. So I'm sure there's a 2022 one, 2023 one somewhere. There was 8,397 grants in there for anything from scholarships, student loans, fellowships, travel internships, residencies, art and cultural projects, research, and what they call general welfare. There were also grants to cover like conference registration and seminars and things like that. I will admit, the super majority of this book was for young people who want to go to college or who want to get fellowships or who are like just starting out in life. But if you are a mom, if you're an aunt, you want to get your kids on the right path, this is a great opportunity for you to take a look at that grant. There was also one grant that I picked out for Black writers. It's a $5,000 grant from um, it's the Neil Hurston, it's the hurstonwright.org. It's this down here that's highlighted, hurstonwright.org, and I can even make this bigger for you here so you're able to see it. You're able to write that down, hurstonwright.org. 5K grants for Black writers if you all want to get that. Um, so yeah, and then the second book that I got was Peterson's Scholarships, Grants, and Prizes. This is another 800 pages of scholarships. It was a 2021 edition in there. They have it set up based on your field of study and area of interest. Again, if you're a mom, if you're an aunt, That could be a great way for you to find some money for the young people that you love. And then for my nonprofits out there, the Directory of Research Grants is something else that's out there. They have various types of indexes, including subject, geographic, and program type. These are the different types of programs that grant people support. Everything from basic education, financial literacy, research. They call them capital campaigns, building construction and renovation. I looked at that part of it. That part was kind of thin, but there's a lot of money for community development, cultural outreach, dissertations and thesis research support, educational programs, professional development, all sorts of stuff out here. Job training, um, seed grants, conferences and workshops, travel grants, etc. It's 1,200 pages. I reviewed some of the seed grants, and a lot of them don't have deadlines on them. So, a lot of the seed grants were for nonprofits. If you all want to start those, you may want to take a look at this as an option. And like I told you before, the wisdom of the world is in these books. This is how people kind of write down what they're doing, what's available. So again, if you want to know what that book is, it is Directory of Research Grants. It's a Directory of Research Grants, and it comes out every year as well. You're also able to get access to these because some of them are either quite heavy or expensive. So there is, in certain cities, there are regional libraries in Atlanta, Cleveland, San Francisco, and DC, and New York. You can also try your public libraries, see if they have them there, because a lot of the libraries will have those there as well. And there's just a ton of other books as well with regards to grants, how to write grants, all sorts of websites like blackcollegian.com, blackexcel.org, blackstudents.com. I haven't looked at these ladies, so, just kind of write them down, look at them. Collegedata.com has 5,000 scholarships worth $2.3 billion, et cetera, et cetera. So that was my excursion. That was my excursion. Put a one in the chat if you've ever thought about getting a grant. Put a two in the chat if you're like, no, I've never really thought about it. I just want to kind of get a temperature check here. One in the chat if you've thought about getting a grant. Two in the chat if you have never thought about it. It's not something that's really on your radar. Brown Skin Girls is in the building saying you can look at your college library as well. And if you are very young, your career, yes, at high school, yes. My suggestion is the grants that I saw there, especially for college, you can start applying for them as early as 14, and it's not going to be a fast process. It's really going to be a slower process. So it's like it's better if you go in once a month starting from age 14 and just plan on spending 3 or 4 hours there. It is tedious, but you know what? The people who are willing to do the work like this and not take shortcuts are the ones that can get all sorts of money. So, you all are telling me you've thought about getting grants before. I thought about doing a research grant business, but it's hard and tedious. And I don't know if I have the patience for that. Hey, Coach K. Hello, hello. I still owe you a call. I know. How far of a drive was it for you to the library? For me, where I am right now, it was an hour and a half, but the traffic was really good, so that was fine. A grant is why I'm here today, so I'm a one. Oh, good. Look, there's a lot of money out there, brown skin girls. I know you're young in your career as well. There's a lot of workforce development money out there for you as well. So definitely keep looking around. Thank you, Coach K. Thank you for telling me I'm good. And actually, we're both in Maryland, so We have no excuse. All right. So, when it comes to bucket list and just kind of living your dreams, for the past oh goodness, for the past probably 3 years, I've been miserable. I was working as a business plan writer. I was doing okay financially, but I was drained. I was tired. I would, be working 7 days a week. And when I wasn't working, I would just lay in bed and I was lethargic and all of that, which is why I left business plan writing at the end of the year, started my new job, as many of you know. And um, even after starting my new job, it still took me a couple of months to just get back to zero. And now I'm at a point where I feel alive again. Even though my bank account is not saying I'm alive, I'm alive. Like I feel better than I have in so many years. It's amazing. So, writing this bucket list and actually doing things in order to make myself feel better makes me more effective at my job, my relationship with my family, etc. And um, not only did I go to the Library of Congress on Saturday, I went to the gun shop on Sunday and practiced my little 2A as well. So, I suggest that if you're at a point in your life right now where you're stuck, when you're lethargic, you know, just know that you're going to come out of it. It took me 3 years, but you're going to come out of it at some point. If you're on top of the world right now, definitely start thinking about some of those bucket list items that you want to do. Um, where, Lord, these homophones? I don't know what that means. I'm in that tired mode right now. Yeah, Victoria. Yeah, I was there. I was there. Now I just need my bank account to kind of rise up to the point where I know it can be, but that tired mode, that lethargic mode, that depressed mode, I mean, it's really hard to shake. It really is. But you're saying pew pew. Yeah, look, I certainly did get my pew pew on Sunday. And y'all, like, everybody else at the range was, like, superhero with their thing, and I was, like, 101 with mine, but hey, everybody was really cool too while I was there. But going back to the bucket list. So when you're thinking about your bucket list, I just wanted to give you some questions to ask yourself. The first is, where do you want to go? So, I have talked about the fact that I want to visit all 7 continents, including Antarctica. I've been to 3 continents. I want to visit the other 4. There are certain countries that are on my list. For some of you, you may want to go to certain monuments, for example. I might want to one day go and visit the Harriet Tubman Monument in Boston. Some of you may want to go to the Grand Canyon. Some of you may want to go to, I want to go to South Korea, right? I want to go to potentially, depending on what's happening in the world, Hong Kong, etc. So where do you wanna go? Number 1. Number 2, what do you wanna do? What do you wanna do? For me, something else that's on my bucket list is I haven't gone swimming in years, years and years, and you know what I'm gonna do this summer? Imma get me a bathing suit. Actually, I already have bathing suits, and I am going swimming. My, um, gym has a pool. And your girl is gonna get in the pool, your girl's gonna get her hair wet, whatever it takes. Yes, I'm going swimming. You may wanna go kayaking, you may wanna go hiking. One of the things I wanna do is dance with the Aborigines in Australia. I told you my mom said that her travel group is going to Australia in 2025. Your girl's gonna get her coins together so I can go to Australia. I wanna dance with the Aborigines. I want to tango in Argentina. I'm sure Victoria would really appreciate that. I want to tango in Argentina. Coach K wants to travel to Greece or Mexico. We talked about Mexico the other week. I've been to Greece though. I love Greece. Greece is fabulous. Selfish love is saying, girl, tired and depressed has been me for the last few years as a tax accountant. I know how that feels. The last couple of years I was in bookkeeping, I was like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. I love the clients. If somebody else could do the accounting for me and all I had to do was meet with the clients, that would have been fine. Oh, you used the wrong I used the wrong where. Okay. Perfect. I just didn't understand what you meant. I'm sorry. Um I have to text you, LOL. I wrote down Antarctica a few days ago. I talked myself out of it. No, girl, let's go see the penguins, Victoria. Let's. Let's go hang out. Yes, I wouldn't mind spending a couple months traveling through South America. I would love to. I would love to. Absolutely. The other thing I want to do is a safari. I want to go to Kenya. I wanna see the lions and I wanna see the hyenas and, whatever else is out there, the leopards, the birds, all of that stuff. So number 2 is where do you wanna go? Number 3 is who do you wanna meet? On your bucket list, who do you want to meet? There's no person that is out of reach. No person, as long as they're alive. Years ago, there's a guy named Dan Kennedy that I used to follow. Funny enough, he's still alive. They thought he was going to pass at one point, but he's still alive. He's Dan Kennedy is a business guy. He's a marketing guy, super smart. And I said, one day I'm going to meet Dan Kennedy. And lo and behold, he had a 1 day seminar and it was like $250 to get in. It was in Ohio. And I said, you know what? I'm going. I booked my plane ticket. I bought the little $250 ticket. I was front and center to meet Dan Kennedy. If there's somebody on your bucket list that you want to meet, put it down because you never know when and how you're going to meet that person. You're saying you want to go to Tanzania. That sounds great. I've heard there are a lot of great waterfalls in Tanzania. Um, but yeah, thinking about who do you want to meet. Number 4 is what do I want to have as a bucket list item? What do I want to have? I have a family member who loves expensive crystal. She collects all sorts of expensive crystal. That's her thing. Some people love baseball cards. Some people love certain types of shoes or dresses. I'm not telling you to put yourself in the poorhouse, but is there something you want to have? Is there something you want to buy? You know, some for me, one of the things that I want to have is the label of accredited investor. I figured the best way for me to get the accredited investor label is for me to take the test. So fortunately, they set it up where we're able to take a test and become an accredited investor. An accredited investor, I want to do that. I have decided that in the next few years, Cherie shall be an accredited investor with money that she's able to put into investments with higher yields. So, yeah, there are some people who wanna buy tax liens. I know a couple of people who bought tax liens or tax deeds or something like that in Gary, Indiana, and now they've got the houses and they're able to renovate them. So, you can either decide where you wanna go, what you wanna do, who do you wanna meet, or what do you wanna have? All of these things are possible. Definitely put them on your bucket list. You want property in the country. Yeah, look, girl, it's nice living in the country. It's nice. Very, very nice. Are you saying you want no, you're saying in the country and not out of the country. Yeah. You can come live in rural America. We love it out here. Okay, so that's all I had with regards to the bucket list. I am going to share a couple of thoughts about this whole pearl thing, just because so many people are talking about it. And there's an unpopular opinion I have with regards to this Pearl situation. So, literally, I'm going to talk for 5 minutes because you all know we don't get in the muck and mire too much over here. So, if you don't know what's happening with this Pearl chick, she is the apparently de facto leader of the Black Manosphere. She was crowned that, I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago or so, it could have been longer, but, apparently she did a couple of streams where she said that slavery wasn't that bad and that, we wanted to make slavery, quote, "more horrible so that they," being us as Black people, "can control people." She said that Black people are lazy and not on time, and she said that, the guy, Alex Haley, that wrote Roots, said that he wanted to create a myth that Black people wouldn't forget or something like that. Whole bunch of dumb stuff that she said. This is my unpopular opinion about this. Um, there are a lot of people who are talking about the Black community, and I was there for a while. But one of the things that I notice is that the harder you fight for the community, sometimes the harder it becomes. I was watching Courtney Michelle earlier today just because of all of the women in the Black manosphere. I feel like she's the most balanced, even though she said a couple of things that she has a couple of positions that I think are horrible. Um, I still think she's the most sincere and the most well balanced. And she talked about the fact that Black men have turned their backs on Crimson Cure with regards to taking Pearl's side. And she mentioned other women as well, but I'm like, "What? Cr Crimson Cure? What are you talking about?" Well, this whole thing has happened. And this brings me back to me telling you ladies that you need to start thinking about, because this is what I'm doing, judging people on an individual basis, letting go of the group and judging people on an individual basis. Because the truth is, and this is my opinion, unpopular opinion, chasing the community is going to keep you poor and unfulfilled. That's what I've discovered over the past few years. Chasing the community, trying to get the community to get together, trying to save the community, having your cape on for the community is going to keep you poor and unfulfilled. If we have Black men who would get on a panel and tear down Black women who have stood up for them, when a lot of the divestors have said no, then I don't know I don't know what to do except to say we need to start judging people on an individual basis. We need to expect to be judged on an individual basis, and we need to start judging people on an individual basis. I see y'all are quiet in the chat. That's okay. Y'all are watching, but y'all are quiet. That's okay. This is my unpopular opinion. One of the things that I've noticed is that um, there have been a lot of live streams with regards to this woman and what she's done. And to me, she's an archetype, just like Scott Adams is an archetype, and all of these other people are archetypes here. But all these people who have been on live streams for the past week talking about this woman and what she said and blah, blah, blah. And the truth is, I only listened to two of the live streams, one of them while I was on the treadmill, and the other one I had to stop because it was Courtney Michelle. And I really did want to hear what she had to say today. So I actually stopped and listened to her. But let me ask you this, all these people listening to these live streams, getting involved in this Pearl conversation, how many of them increased their technical skills this week? How many of them increased their soft skills this week? How many of them increased their networks this week, their multicultural networks this week? How many of them got extra resources this week? If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, these are my famous four. We need to be chasing more technical skills, more soft skills, more networks, and more resources. If we are, as individuals, are spending time running behind Pearl and whomever else instead of running behind our skill stacking, in my unpopular opinion, it's going to leave you poor and unfulfilled. There's a lot of unrequited love, unreciprocatedness within the community, and especially online. A lot of our favorite YouTubers, or we think our favorite YouTubers, the big ones, they need the YouTube check. So they will say and do anything in order to get the clicks, in order to get the views, in order to get the buzzing. But how does that help you get technical skills? How does that help you get soft skills? How does that help you build your multicultural networks? How does that teach you financial literacy so that you can get the resources you need to prepare for your family so that you can get your bucket list items? On Wednesday, I'm doing a show called He's Scamming, She's Scamming, Who's Scamming? And it started with some of the comments I made on Mocha Mommy's channel, but even before I had talked with Mocha Mommy yesterday, and you all can go and check out her live stream for a preview of what I said there, um, I had already had this topic in the queue. The people that are on YouTube, that are on Facebook, that are on Clubhouse are going to leave you poor. They're going to leave you stuck. And here's the thing, I'm not just talking about the pro Black ones, I'm talking about some of these divestors too. If you're stuck in a loop where you cannot get out of the way and get into the technical skills, the soft skills, the networks you truly need, and the resources, we're what are you going to do individually? Because the truth is, two Americas are coming. There will always be Black versus white, etc. I'm not naive enough to not think that. But there's going to be a class issue as well that's happening. And we on this channel, we as upwardly mobile Black women, we need to be careful about what we're putting our energy into. The final thing that I will say, and then I'll read your comments, is that the productive people are the quietest people out here. I had the conversation with Diamond Dave on Saturday. The only panel, no, that's not true. I went on Coach K's panel as well to talk about this for a few minutes. But on Diamond Dave's panel, I talked about you, my followers, and I talked about the fact that you're educated Black women and you are leaving the community, you're divesting. And, he actually agreed with that. He said he has family members, Black women family members that have left, are not married to Black men. Uh, they don't bash Black men, which you all know I don't bash Black men on this channel, but there's an understanding from productive people who don't have all day to be on YouTube, falling out about Pearl and the rest of them, that educated Black women are leaving. And I'm here to say to you that leaving is probably going to be the best thing for you. I started off today talking about bucket lists and talking about, being not in a good headspace over the past 3 years. Just getting out of the fog in January when I switched jobs and let certain things go. Understand that, excuse me, that productive people are offline doing their thing. Unfortunately, the loudest people are online. Unfortunately, anybody under the age of 30, I think a lot of people are going to get swayed by what's happening online and who's making it rain and who's looking the best. I did tell Diamond Dave I was concerned about that, but I can only be so concerned. But all I can say with regards to this whole situation is that you need to judge people on an individual basis. If you're uplifting people as a whole, you will end up, unfortunately, unpopular opinion, like Courtney Michelle and Crimson Cure being called out for not lifting up Pearl. And I don't want to see any of us at the other end of that. I don't. So let me read the rest of your comments here and then we're going to head on out. Yes, save yourself first, Selfish Love is saying, then help like minded if they want it. I could not agree more. You are absolutely right. To add to that, I think it's okay to leave the community, but we also need to leave without any hard feelings. I can agree with that. It's okay to walk away and be indifferent. Yeah, I agree. Facts, I've decided to focus on the selective, not the collective. Yeah, the original divestors were self first. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. That was like the early 1990s, early 2000 divestors. Yes, absolutely. Um, you're saying, Lord, you're laughing. Look, I felt it was important for me to because a couple of months ago I had mentioned Pearl, and then one of my subbies said, we really don't come here for that. So, but I knew I saw the train coming. I knew she was going to be a problem. Um, but I felt compelled to actually talk about it because so many people are talking about it. Pearl had a glitch. No, Pearl is a glitch. She wasn't supposed to expose the fact that this is all business for her. Here's the thing, Victoria. Ray Charles could have seen that this was a business for her. What I don't understand, and this came out in the Courtney Michelle video, is Courtney said to Black Men, you all want us to follow you, but you're following her. That doesn't make any sense. And she was right about that. My thing is, you didn't know that before. Now, I don't watch Courtney Michelle a lot. Actually, I don't watch her pretty much at all. Probably seen like 3 live streams of her total. But we have to have more discernment than this. But yeah, she said the quiet part out loud. She absolutely did. I didn't know who this woman was until now. How are these 30 to 40 plus men crawling fun behind this 26-year-old girl? Uh, I think what Cynthia talks about pathology, I think that has a lot to do with it. And I think that there are a lot of people who want to be accepted and looked upon by any means necessary. And they chose to follow her. So, Shri, you're saying a word with the skills is what's needed. Yes, they are. Um, it was a glitch. Yes, it was. Pearl's marketing has pushed her all over the YouTube algorithm. It wasn't just her marketing, YouTube really pushed her all over the algorithm as well. YouTube did it. They uplifted her. I had to tell YouTube um, to stop recommending her page to me because she has like 5 or 6 pages, and all they kept doing was showing me her stuff. I was like, literally, like, do not recommend. I mean, it's disgusting. I found out this woman I knew nothing about had 1 million subscribers. Yes, she does. Unpopular opinion after the breakdown, Mr. Dave did honestly, these people were not that smart to follow this woman. He did say that. If it wasn't her, it would be another lady. Here's the thing. First of all, I thought that men didn't follow women, but okay. There are other women, especially other Black women, that they could have followed that would have made a lot more sense. But I thought that women weren't supposed to follow. So sorry, I thought men weren't supposed to follow women. That's what I thought. Day's point was spot on. It was. I actually enjoyed his session. Pearl has tapped into a market she knows wants to hear their own beliefs be communicated through someone they are desperate to covet, the white woman. Yeah, it's the truth. It's okay to call it what it is. We certainly have on this channel. And it's not really about Pearl at the end of the day, ladies. It's about you. It's about you taking the blinders off and saying, I see what this is. I'm not following any of it. I'm not following the pro reparations crowd. Not that I am not for reparations, because I absolutely am. But I'm not following Tariq Nasheed. I'm not following anybody down the primrose path. I'm not doing it. I'm not following Cynthia down the primrose path. I'm not following Crystalline Carrison. I'll pick up little things that I'm like, yeah, what that person is saying is right. But in terms of ride or die following people and all of that, or being pro divestment or pro Black community or any of that, I I'm here to tell you the Cherie unpopular opinion is it's a losing game. It's a losing game. There's a reason they're doing this. Your FBI agent is watching. Oh my goodness. I hate that YouTube no longer allows me to block the toxic manosphere channel. Oh, they should allow you to block the channels. They should, dark and lovely. I'm able to block channels. There are channels I don't get. I don't get anything with Kevin Samuels on it. I don't get anything with Pearl on it. It is on purpose. They are tracking the men listening to this trash and taking it from there. Well, I will say this, and then we'll let this conversation go. At the end of the day, we as upwardly mobile Black women, I pay attention to what's happening. I spend 5% of my time paying attention to what's happening because I don't want to get caught off guard. But 95% of what I'm paying attention to is my bucket list, what I'm doing, my pew pew, where I'm going, who I'm meeting, my technical skills, my soft skills, my networks, and my resources. Cape is burned, not doing it. I will help anybody who needs my help and is willing to put in the work that it takes. And other than that, I'm just not interested. I'm just not. And that's it. So I did want to at least have that conversation with you ladies this evening. Wednesday's going to be our scamming show. Don't forget to like the video on your way out. Wednesday's going to be our scamming show. So I'm not calling any names on Wednesday, but I came across a really good video and some really information I've already known. But this person put it so succinctly that I'm going to review a video on Wednesday about scamming. And, we're going to take the channel from there onwards and upwards. So I'll say this for Dark and Lovely saying, I'll say this for the past 3 years, I had no eyesight but gained 2020 vision and perspective. I took my cape off for the Black community. Good for you, Dark and Lovely. And I know that, I believe you said you're starting to get your sight back, which I'm so grateful for. And we definitely need to keep that 2020 vision and perspective beyond 2020 vision. Your third eye, whatever it is you're calling it, but it's fruitless. It's fruitless, except on an individual basis. It's fruitless to put a cape on and defend the collective. And the fact that, again, when Courtney Michelle said that these men called out Crimson Cure and her and some of the other women who basically glorify them. I had already I had already burned the cape, but I'm like, some of y'all just need to get off the train. So that is it for me, ladies. I will see you on Wednesday. Take care. Bye.